Now at 5:30 on WKYT this morning, Kentucky's Agriculture Commissioner is making a couple stops in the Commonwealth to pass along some advice on avoiding credit card skimmers.
Also on WKYT this morning, we have learned the name of the man arrested for shooting another man in Anderson County. We have those new details coming in just ahead.
And we're just 1 week away from celebrating the 4th of July. You may be excited for fireworks, but firefighters also want you to be safe, of course. We're live with some fireworks safety tips ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome in. It's your Monday, June 27th, and we're set to go. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. It's already July almost. It's hard to believe it. It's here.
But not after the weekend we had with the weather. I mean, it really felt like hot like the 4th of July, didn't it? With the heat and humidity. Well, the good news is that kind of goes away, or at least eases it a little bit. And meteorologist Jim Caldwell's in for Micah. Good morning.
And good morning to you. Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity for a few days before we crank it back up with more chances of showers and storms. We're looking off in the distance back toward downtown Lexington. You can see it's smooth sailing. See some action there along the interstate as well. Nice and calm. 72 degrees right now with a southwest wind coming in at around 5. That's feeding in more moisture to give us a chance for some showers and storms to light up our Defender radar network later today. Upper 60s, low 70s, and mid 70s. Pretty common sight out there this morning. Later today, though, we'll probably get back into the upper 80s. Now, tomorrow's a break. I'll track that break coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
And Jim, we'll see you shortly. Thank you.
Well, Kentucky's Agriculture Commissioner making a couple of stops today to pass along some advice while we're at the gas pump.
Ryan Quarles, along with some local police officers, are demonstrating how you can avoid getting scammed while you're getting gasoline. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in Lexington with the details. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. If you're standing at a gas pump like this one, you cannot see the skimmer that's waiting to scam your credit information. That's because it's actually inside the pump itself. Now, it only takes crooks about 30 seconds to pop open this panel here that's right outside that credit information. And once they do that, that's when they insert a device that copies your credit information. It's happening more and more, so the state agriculture commissioner will be visiting Lexington today to explain how gas stations and customers can protect themselves. Here's what we've already learned. Some gas stations put tamper tape over their gas panels, so if you pull up to a pump and that tape is broken, keep on driving. Another line of defense, gas station employees. Some are starting to check their pumps for skimmers a couple times a day. Now, we expect to hear much more from the Ag Commissioner when he visits Lexington in just about 5 hours. He will be stopping by the minute mark here off of Ironworks Pike and I-75 around 10:30 this morning. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, we are following some news out of Anderson County. Lawrenceburg police have made an arrest in a shooting. Police say around 9:30 last night on Versailles Road, two men were arguing on a front porch of a home. We're told the homeowner shot the other man. Police say that man was shot in the chest and taken to UK hospital. His name hasn't been released, and at this point we do not know his condition. Police say the shooter is Hugh Robinson. He's in the Shelby County Detention Center on an attempted murder charge.
State police are still investigating a deadly shooting situation in Breathitt County. Troopers say 2 people showed up at the Kentucky River Medical Center with gunshot wounds to the chest over the weekend. One of the victims told troopers his mother shot him. Troopers went to their home on Cook Fork Road in the South Fork community looking for the victim's mother. When they got there, they found Henry Hurt dead and his wife Sandra Hurt unresponsive. Troopers think Sandra Hurt shot her husband, her son, and another woman. Investigators are planning to charge her with murder, attempted murder, and wanton endangerment.
Well, we know a man's in critical condition after a shooting in Lexington. Police tell us a taxi had just dropped off the victim near the intersection of North Limestone and East 7th when 3 men robbed and shot him. We've learned the man's name. We're confirming it with police, and we will let you know what that is when we do that. We're told he's in the hospital and at last check was in critical condition. Lexington police also dealt with other reports of burglaries and shots fired over the weekend. They're trying to figure out if any of these cases are connected to that shooting. Louisville police have not made any arrests in Saturday's triple homicide. Police found 3 men dead in a home in the city's Duval neighborhood. Investigators are not releasing details about how they died, but they do suspect foul play.
A Kentucky lawmaker is wanting to make it a hate crime to target police officers, firefighters, or EMS workers. State Representative Kevin Bratcher has filed the bill. He says we live in an age where people are targeted for who they are and who they represent. The proposed bill would make it a hate crime to target police officers, firefighters, or EMS workers, those first responders. Killing an officer is a capital punishment offense in Kentucky.
If it is a murder and it goes to the death penalty, right, the hate crime legislation will not affect that. But on certain areas, it will enhance it, that if it's been proven that somebody attacked a police officer or a firefighter or an EMS simply because of what they were doing, then this will enhance the prosecution.
Now, a crime can be considered a hate crime if a person is targeted because of their race, color, religion, sexual orientation, or nationality. Bratcher now wants those first responders to be included in that.
Well, Lexington police have issued a golden alert for a missing man. Police say Daniel Hogsett was last seen at the Walmart on Nichols Park Drive yesterday afternoon. They tell us Hogsett suffers from schizophrenia and may be disoriented. He's 6'2" and about 160 pounds. He was last seen wearing a skull cap with orange flames, a faded black t-shirt and jeans. He has a shaved head and no facial hair. Well, firefighters are crediting smoke alarms for helping a Lexington family get out of their home safely. They say a fire started inside the home on North Broadway. The fire started in the attic. They do not know at this point what caused it. It is called an accident, though. Crews spent hours cleaning out the fire. Firefighters are able to keep it contained to the attic. They say the home is actually not a total loss.
5:36 now on WKYT this morning, and Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton will campaign up the road in Cincinnati today. Senator Elizabeth Warren is expected to be with her on the campaign trail. Last night, Clinton was at a private fundraiser at Mayor John Cranley's house. She will hold a public event this morning at the Cincinnati Museum Center. We've also checked Donald Trump's schedule. He does not have any fundraisers or public appearances listed for today. Later today, Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin will sign a bill creating the state's first legislative automotive caucus. The team of lawmakers will work with the state's auto manufacturers and suppliers on key issues like workforce development. Kentucky is the third largest producer of light vehicles in the country. Governor Bevin will sign that bill at 10 o'clock this morning in Frankfort.
We now have the funeral arrangements for a man killed in a crash in Scott County. Alex Raby died Friday after a driver hit his SUV on Cherry Blossom Way. His obituary says he graduated in 2010 from Scott County High School and was in the maintenance training program with Toyota Motor Manufacturing. Visitation for Raby will be tonight from 5 to 8 at St. John Catholic Church in Georgetown. His funeral will be there tomorrow morning at 10. He'll be buried at St. Francis Catholic Cemetery.
In Pulaski County, there will be a candlelight vigil tonight to remember a 10-year-old boy who they say was killed by a hit-and-run driver. Stanley Turner died Monday after a car hit him on Rock Lick Creek Road in Pulaski County. Police have not been able to find the driver. That vigil will begin at 7:30 tonight in a parking lot next to the Science Hill Post Office.
Legendary women's basketball head coach Pat Summitt is not doing so well this morning, according to our CBS affiliate in Knoxville. Over the weekend, family, friends, and former players made their way to see the coach. Summitt announced back in 2011 she was suffering from early onset dementia, Alzheimer's type. A statement on the Pat Summitt Foundation website said in part, quote, "On behalf of her family, we acknowledge the past few days have been difficult for Pat," end quote. Summitt coached at the University of Tennessee, winning 8 national championships there. She's the winningest coach in the history of men's and women's Division I basketball. So we hope that she can do well. Not looking so good for her, though.
Yeah, a famous story. ESPN once reported that she almost came to Kentucky in the mid-1970s, but they couldn't work out the moving expenses. So,
of all things, yeah.
Never been known if that was actually true, but it certainly was reported back in the day. 1 week from today, millions of Americans will celebrate Independence Day with cookouts, flags, and, of course, lots of fireworks.
Fireworks are always fun, but you have to keep safety in mind, of course, with those. WKYT's Mike Byers live in Lexington with some tips for us all. Good morning.
That's right, we're exactly 1 week from the 4th of July, and if you're going to shoot off fireworks, the Lexington Fire Department wants you to be safe in doing so. If you're going to shoot them off, the fire department recommends that you follow these following safety tips. They say to shoot them off in a wide open spaces, never hold them in your hands, and always have an extinguisher or bucket of water or even a bucket of sand available nearby. Now, they offer these tips even though shooting fireworks off in the city is illegal. Kentucky laws also prohibit fireworks from being used within 200 feet of a structure. Captain Chris Bartley says every year the fire department responds to some kind of firework-related incident, and that this year they don't want to see anyone get hurt. He says nationally there's about 11,000 injuries that are due to fireworks, and that they want everyone to be cautious if they are using them. Now, after hearing that, it sounds like we should just leave them to the pros, like the pros who will be shooting them over the night sky here at Commonwealth Stadium 1 week from today, starting at 9 o'clock. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. So far, 2016 has been a good year for The Voice winner and Kentucky native Jordan Smith. Smith and his fiancée, Kristen Denny, tied the knot over the weekend. People magazine reports the two of them married in Middlesboro. Smith proposed to Denny shortly after winning The Voice last year. So again, a big year for him, and congratulations to the new couple.
Yeah.
All right. Time this morning, 5:40, and let's check live drive traffic this morning, see what is going on, and we'll take a quick look at the region first.
You know, the wide view of the map showing things looking okay. And here's a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This one at New Circle and Meadow Lane.
Folks moving along there fine. We have no reports of any early issues. We will check on this delay. It appears to be on maybe US 60 there, just outside of Winchester, and see what might be going on there. But otherwise, you're good to go. More news coming right up for you.
When life hands you a glass of lemonade, you also get a history lesson. At least at one lemonade stand in Michigan. We'll have more coming up after Jim's forecast.
And my forecast looks pretty good. Not today, but for the next few days. Looks really nice. We're hot and steamy with some storms today. I'll track all of it coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Nice calm out there on this Monday morning, the last one of June, and you can see that for yourself as well as we're looking back toward downtown Lexington. A little traffic there along the interstate. Currently at 72 degrees, humidity high, of course, as it usually is this time of year, this early in the morning. And the thing about it is, it's going to stay high through the day today, even though we're catching a little change in wind. Winds now coming out of the northwest around 6 miles per hour. Normally that would feed in a big drier air mass. Not the case yet. We are going to dry things up quite a bit, though, around here. We're going to spark a few showers and thunderstorms. You can see them trying to come together a little bit better just to our north across parts of Indiana and also into Ohio. Now, around here, it's quiet, at least for now. But once we progress it into the afternoon and evening, when this front really digs in, that's when we will enhance our chances for some showers and those thunderstorms. But the best thing about this is, in fact, that's going to bring some rain, because we're going to have rain chances around here. The best thing is the drier air that will come oozing in behind it. We are going to clean things up around here. Here's what we have as far as humidity is concerned. Everywhere you see the color of green, that is where we have higher levels of humidity, or where it's going to be more uncomfortable. We're always going to have some moisture in the air, but this is just where it's going to be higher. Humid air around for us today. We're at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and it's still pretty humid around here. But notice the core where the darker greens are. They start to fade away, and we lighten things up around here. Across Kentucky, that means that the drier air is coming into play. And notice as we get a little bit deeper into your Wednesday, the greens start to disappear, meaning that we are getting into a very comfortable level of moisture in the atmosphere. So the humidity begins to drop, and then refreshing air returns for a few days before we change things up again, of course, as we get toward the end of the week and into the weekend. Rounds of showers and thunderstorms will arrive in the area. Here's how we get there. Hour by hour forecast. There you see the rain chances enhancing a little bit later on this evening. Daytime highs, mid and upper 80s to get caught under a shower, naturally a little bit cooler. But once that front clears down, because that's what's driving those showers and storms, you'll watch these temperatures do the same. We start the morning off on Tuesday, mid and upper 60s. There'll be a few of us still holding on to that. And then into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, this model is really stuck on trying to get those upper 70s and low 80s in here widespread on Tuesday. I think we're in the 80s area wide, but by Wednesday, I think we're all in the upper 70s. A very comfortable run, 50s to start the morning. That will be refreshing, and we have that on several occasions here in our 7-day forecast. Check this out as we move ahead. A little warm today, mainly dry on Tuesday. I think there might be a rogue shower or two that tries to hold on in eastern Kentucky. And then you see the pleasant stuff there. Refreshing nights and mornings and fantastic days before we get locked in with a pattern that looks very stormy toward the weekend, guys. But let's just talk about the refreshing stuff before we have to talk about the nasty stuff.
Yeah. Focus on the good.
It's still hard not to talk about the weekend, though. You know, even though it's Monday, always
thinking
looking.
ahead. That's right.
And, you know, maybe it'll be all right. At least it won't be as hot as it was this weekend.
Yeah, because this weekend was miserable, 90s out there in some cases.
Brutal. It really was, yeah. Coming up on 548, if you need to brush up on your facts, you might want to head up to Michigan. That's where an 8-year-old boy is putting his own spin on the common lemonade stand.
Instead of selling little cups of the refreshment, Gabe is offering a history lesson instead. It'll only cost you $0.25. But Gabe says if he gets paid more than that, he has to tell his customers a lot of history. His mom says he came up with the idea one day because he wants to tell people stories.
Well, since I have so much knowledge and I can't be a history teacher, I just came up with this.
Oh, look at that. All the money he raised will go to veterans or his church. That is awesome. So far, Gabe has made about $7.30. I'd say it's well worth the history lesson.
I guess
from
that
this
would
guy.
be considered tuition that he's been paid, right?
He is so cute, isn't he?
That's pretty cool.
That's
all right,
neat.
yeah, good luck to him. I bet he is a history teacher or professor someday, right? Good to have you along now. 548 on WKYT this morning.
Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We'll check traffic again, see what's going on. By the way, that situation near Winchester, clear, no problems there. Everybody moving along fine. And we have a lot more news on the way on WKYT. Good morning. Great to have you along with us. Here we are Monday after a hot weekend. Things are going to be a little bit better this week. It's 5:52.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
In Anderson County, police have made an arrest in a shooting. We're told that 2 men started arguing, then one shot the other. Police say the shooter is Hugh Robinson. He is in the Shelby County Detention Center on an attempted murder charge. Police say that man who was shot in the chest and he has been taken to UK hospital. His name has not been released to us. We do not know his condition at this moment.
Kentucky's Agriculture Commissioner is making a couple of stops today to pass along some advice while you're at the gas pump. Ryan Quarles, along with some local officers, demonstrating how we can avoid getting scammed. Authorities meeting at the Minute Mart gas station off I-75 and Ironworks Pike later this morning at 10:30 with those tips for customers.
And we're exactly a week away from the 4th of July, and the Lexington Fire Department is wanting people to be safe when shooting off fireworks. If you're going to shoot off fireworks, the fire department recommends that you follow some safety tips. They say to shoot them off in a wide open space, never hold them in your hands, always have an extinguisher or bucket of water or even sand available nearby. And they really do say the best thing is just to go to a professionally done fireworks display.
Okay.
That's the safest.
Yeah, want to stay safe out there. Secretary of State John Kerry is traveling to Brussels and London today after Britain's vote to leave the EU. That tops your international headlines this morning.
Kerry will meet with European and British leaders to discuss the historic decision. Over the weekend, Scotland's leaders suggested that they will do whatever it takes to stay in the bloc, including withholding Scotland's consent to Britain leaving. World markets are bracing for another rocky day after suffering about $2 trillion in losses following the Brexit.
Back here in the United States, more rain in the forecast for parts of West Virginia. Not good news for them. They're already ravaged by deadly floods. Heavy rains battered much of the state last week, leaving hundreds of homes damaged or destroyed. President Barack Obama signed a disaster declaration making federal funding available to flood victims.
Authorities in Sacramento are still trying to determine what led to multiple stabbings at a neo-Nazi event yesterday. The violence broke out at the state capitol as members of a white supremacist group clashed with counter-protesters. Several people suffered from stab wounds. So far, no deaths have been reported. And a little bit of lighter news this morning. Summer officially kicked off at the box office.
Yes, it did, and the stars came out for the BET Awards. Chris Martinez has your eye on entertainment.
I can't discuss the pounding of my heart. Stevie Wonder was in the spotlight at the 16th annual BET Awards in Los Angeles, performing a musical tribute to the late rock legend Prince. The stars of TV's Blackish, Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis, hosted the show, honoring the best in black music, film, video, and sports. Beyoncé's Formation won Video of the Year. Tennis great Billie Jean King celebrated Pride Weekend, receiving a Trailblazer Award. Emma Stone presented the award in a televised special, honoring King for her pioneering efforts in the fight for LGBTQ equality. Stone plays King in the upcoming film Battle of the Sexes, which is based on King's historic match against Bobby Riggs. And summer officially kicked off at the weekend box office with the long-awaited debut of Independence Day: Resurgence. But the super sequel was not enough to splash Finding Dory out of the #1 spot. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Let's get a check right now on today's traffic trouble spots. It's early Monday morning, not really too much of a problem that we're hearing about.
It looks good so far. Here are is a look at the current travel map, and the region is looking clear. Again, we checked on that situation that appears to be a slowdown on US 60, but the report is that everything is good, everything flowing normally there out of Winchester this morning. Here is the Urban County Government live drive cam at New Circle and Liberty. It is quiet over there this morning. People probably start crawling out here in the next little bit.
We got to get going. Even if you don't want to get up out of bed and get at it, you know, you might want to do that if you have to. It is your Monday.
It's going to be more comfortable out there, it looks like, this week, at least after the heat and humidity of the weekend, and Jim's tracking that for us.
Yeah, showers and thunderstorms we see out there today, guys, are actually going to lead to some improving weather conditions as we head into the middle of the week. We have some of that activity showing up just north of the area right now. Today, though, we'll have the rain around and daytime highs probably coming in at a strong level. We get back into the upper 80s again today with heat index values crossing over into the low 90s and perhaps beyond. But some very pleasant stuff once we get past today. We're talking upper 70s and low 80s by the middle of the week. We are so glad you're along with us here on WKYT this morning. We've got a whole lot more coming up for the 6 o'clock hour.